Scott Novak, today's official, alongside him, tells him it's time to get things going. Back to receive the kickoff. Jerome Ford is back there alongside him to receive the kickoff. I think that's Dylan Sampson, the young running back, and it falls short of the landing zone around the 23-yard line. Went for a knuckleball, and that will come all the way out to the 40-yard line, and that's where Dylan Gabriel will take his first snaps in the NFL.
He will, and we expect him to try and power away with the run game, right? That's how people have got after the Vikings this season. Not very good or effective against their run. They're one of the best pass defense in the NFL. I expect we'll see a lot of Quinton Judkins to open up. Greg
Rosenthal from NFL Daily is here. Greg, first impressions of being back at Tottenham?
Well, I'm exhausted. I just ran from the field before the game. Hopefully Quinton Judkins, who's been one of the better young running backs in the league since he's come into the lineup, can run as well as I just did.
They give him 4 in the end, 2nd and 6. It'll be ball at the 44. And that will be a Minnesota Vikings first down. They're marking him down at the 22. First down, Minnesota.
And the Browns recognize what Greg said. They're selling out to try and stop the run early. They're sending extra hats to the party. They know if they get Carson Wentz behind the chains, they can tee off with their 4-down rush, and that's going to be problems for Minnesota.
I love doing this with Ollie because I can just do the corny stuff. A guy doesn't have his shirt on. He can do all the X's and O's.
Myles Garrett lining out incredibly wide on these formations. He's outside the tight end on this. Adam Thielen goes into motion, so he's going to need help on that side as Garrett does beat his man. Gets out to Wentz, but instead goes to Hockenson on the little dump off. Out to the 29, down to the 30, right on the numbers. Picks up about 9 on that first down. They essentially let Myles Garrett through as a free rusher. Passed it off to the man who was in to chip him, and that's a nice pickup on first down. And Justin Jefferson to his right hands the ball off to Mason up the gut, out to the 45. Rumbles maybe. Ball is out. Ball is down. Browns are indicating they have it. Fumble on the play. Have the Browns come up with it? They're going to have to unpick the pile here for Cleveland, but everyone in the brown jerseys and the orange helmets indicating that this is going the other way. We're waiting to see the play back on our monitors here, but every single Cleveland Brown is convinced they've got it, and they do. Jordan Mason putting the ball onto the ground, and the man coming away from the pile with it is safety Grant Delpit for the Cleveland Browns. We said this was going to be a turnover and defense heavy game, and a huge play early doors for Cleveland, Greg.
Exactly what the Vikings offense can't do there. I want to see that shot again. It's like Greg Newsome actually heard Ollie that he can't tackle. He was the first one in on that play. Not sure who knocked it loose, but that is massive, setting up the rookie quarterback with the short field.
NFL defensive end and massive human being, F.A. Obada, has joined us at side. Ever, you were down there on the sideline pre-game. You heard this crowd here in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Like, NFL's back in London. It's a beautiful thing.
Of course. Honestly, this is amazing. There's 3 London games I've had the pleasure of attending. The first one was, before I started playing. The second one was I actually played in the London game, and this is my 3rd London game as well. So so this is amazing.
Was that when you were with the Panthers?
That was when I was with the Panthers. Yes.
I was at that game.
You were?
And you guys got a W.
We did. Did you hear everybody chanting my name at the end?
That was an amazing moment, yes.
It's a beautiful thing. As they pick apart the bundle of bodies, and it'll be 2nd and goal from the 2.
Quinton Judkins enters the game now for Jerome Ford. He was a little winded, but watching that run, I was thinking, man, if Judkins had the ball there, they score.
6 of 48 already for Judkins with that long of 32. I'd be winded if I ran 32 yards at any point in my life, let alone if I had to get the ball again. As Gabriel is under centre, Judkins behind him in the backfield, sends a man in motion and fakes the handoff, has options, Fannin on the goal line, touchdown Cleveland.
It is all about the tight ends or the fullbacks in this offense, and Harold Fannin, he can do it all.
Absolutely just tiptoeing right along the front of that end zone into the front left corner, and he was wide open as Dylan Gabriel hit him for 6, F.A.
What a great drive. I love that run game. Just opens up everything from that play action.
I imagine he's going to be picking your brain about pass rush, passing lanes and passages and like
I'm going to show him
scheming, and that's fine. We'll get some overloads going.
I mean, go to your fancy commissioner's booth. I'd rather be right here.
Thanks for having
stuff. F.A. Obada joining us on the call here on talkSPORT 2. So ball at the 21-yard line, 3rd and 7. Minnesota, 2nd drive of the game, looking to avoid a 3 and out. Brown showing pressure off the right-hand side of his line, and they bring it. Wentz with time in the pocket, finds Jefferson out the left-hand side, out to 30, down to 35, out past the 36-yard line, a 15-yard pickup for Justin Jefferson. A first down to the Minnesota Vikings, and with that catch, Justin Jefferson becomes the leading receiver in international games history in yardage. Marked down at the 32-yard line in the end, then 1st and 10 Minnesota, 2:40 left in this first quarter. And the snap looks like it's going to be taken direct snap on this call. Ball over the top to the tight end, out to 16, down to the 10, down to the 5. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings! The trickery to Josh Oliver. The throw over the middle from the running back. Sensational little trickery from Kevin O'Connell. And that'll be a Minnesota Vikings touchdown. They give us a little shake and bake, a little something fancy. And yeah, didn't expect that today.
We thought we may see one early. These two teams are going to try and gamify the offense, find some way to build in explosive plays, and there we go.
I love that. I believe it was Cam Akers there with a touchdown throw, and that was the easiest throw Cam Akers will ever have. It might be the only throw he's ever had.
As a little bit of oasis rings out. Does it bring a tear, Ollie Connolly? A little bit of home coming to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Did you get to see them on tour?
Of course I did, at Heaton Park.
Yeah,
greatest night of my life. Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Oh, come on, you've got to give us more than that, because Greg turned down the opportunity to go and see them.
Shameful. How can you not cry? You're stood next to your wife, you're screaming acquiesce, we believe in each other, we need one another with the boys.
Because the B-Sides album is the best album, of course, as we all know.
Of course.
Ollie Connolly, of course, choosing a B-side to shout out from his time seeing Oasis live. 12 personnel again, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends and a running back. Isaiah Bond to the right, Judy lined up on the left. The Vikings favouring the left-hand side of their defensive line, showing pressure, Fannin moves. He is being marked by Metellus. Ball over the middle, ball to David Njoku. Touchdown! Cleveland Browns over the middle, and the big man who just leaped over someone on a previous play now gets into the end zone for pay dirt, and the Cleveland Browns have a lead here in North London.
Oh, David Njoku raises his arms to the Tottenham crowd. He is loving it. He did it before the game as well with his shirt off, getting some love from the Browns faithful who made the trip.
Hey, you said he was getting a little bit of hate from the Cleveland Browns fan. He's having a bit of a day today, David Njoku. And a second touchdown for the Browns today. 16-14 extra point upcoming. Ball is down, hold is good. Kick is up and kick is good. 17-14, the Cleveland Browns lead the Minnesota Vikings with 3:05 left in the third quarter. You're listening to NFL Live here on talkSPORT 2. 1:40 remaining on the clock. 1st and 10 at the 48. Wentz in the gun. Mason alongside him. Again, Wentz has some time on the ball. Pressure late coming there. Jefferson, 30-yard line. Holds the catch in against Denzel Ward. And it is the superstar, Justin Jefferson, making the big play, getting them into field goal range, getting out of bounds. Absolutely brilliant from Justin Jefferson.
You go to your biggest plays in the biggest moments. Justin Jefferson makes plays. Myles Garrett had a one-on-one, could not get home to the quarterback.
Carson Wentz in the gun, Jordan Mason alongside him, and they're going to call a timeout. The Cleveland Browns gassed after that play. The defensive line are all on the ground, and I have to say, on that play, I initially said Wentz had time in the pocket, but both Malik Collins and Mason Graham were collapsing that line, and he got that ball out at just the right moment, because otherwise we're talking about a big Browns defensive play and maybe a game killer.
And we talked about him before, but it's Myles Garrett. It's his time to show up. They've taken TJ Hawkinson out of the pass pro that they've run for most of the game to keep Myles Garrett quiet. They need him now driving to try and win the game, and so Hawkinson is out there running routes. He's not staying in to protect. This is Myles Garrett's chance.
The 21-yarder to Justin Jefferson, getting them into makeable field goal range. Could we see this game eked out into overtime? Could we see the Browns getting the ball out back with timeouts remaining? 11 of 7 for 123 yards for Jefferson today. Wentz in the gun, it's empty in the backfield, checks the play at the line of scrimmage, acknowledged by the players around him. He's got 2 to the right of Mason and Jefferson. He's looking to the left-hand side though. Goes to Jalen Naylor behind the line of scrimmage to the 25. Gets out of bounds right around the 22-yard line. Nice pickup on first down. Stefanski keeping it nice. Kevin O'Connell keeping it nice and simple, getting it out to the 24-yard line of the Browns.
And this is the chess match right now. Jim Schwartz is bailing everyone out. He's showing some pressure but bailing guys out. He really thinks he can tempt Carson Wentz into a back-breaking mistake. 2nd and 5 now. Ball from the 23. 1:05 remaining. 3-point game. Browns up on the Vikings. Vikings just outside the red zone. Wentz
in the gun. Mason alongside him, Addison to the left, Jefferson, to the left, Addison to the right. He goes for Mason on the outside, out to the 25, gets nearly to the 20. He's about 2 yards short of the line to gain, goes out of bounds, and they will call it out of bounds. The clock doesn't continue. He maybe gains 2 yards on the play, giving them a manageable 3rd and 3. And most importantly, Jordan Mason dives for the sideline and stops that clock once more. 57 seconds remaining.
It's a smart play from Jordan Mason. It's a smart play from Carson Wentz. Everything was covered downfield. The Carson Wentz we normally know, but still tried to fit it in any way to try and win the game. Instead, he gets to the check down.
Kevin O'Connell having a word with Scott Novak on the sideline. Not sure what's being said here, but it is holding up the play as Carson Wentz is in the huddle, calling a play in. But O'Connell having some serious words with Scott Novak ahead of this next play. 21 up, maybe just saying to him, just, look for the hole. Look for the pass interference. They've been grabbing us all day. It's a clever coach who gets in the referee's ear at the right moment and maybe just tips him towards something he's seen there all game. Right, so the conversation was about play clock. That's what the conversation was. Well, not play clock, game clock. They've added 2 seconds back onto the clock. And it looks like the Cleveland Browns elected to take a timeout on the play. So are they saying he was actually out of bounds and Cleveland decided it was inbounds, decided to take a timeout? Either way, timeout remaining for each team. 59 seconds, 3rd and 3, ball at the 21. Wentz under centre. Mason in behind him, 2 receivers right. He sends Jordan Addison in motion to the left alongside Jefferson. Fakes the handoff, goes to Addison outside, gets the first down and a little bit more out towards the 16-yard line. Absolutely hammered in the backfield by Miles Harden. Outside by Miles Harden, and the clock will continue to run. 52 seconds remaining. In fact, I think the Vikings may have called. No, the Browns have called their final timeout.
They're saving time. They know the Vikings have a really good chance to score here. They want to have a chance to go win the game.
They're saving time though, and that was a first down. Like, do you try and put some clock pressure on the Vikings? Do you try and make sure that they're not going to get a further opportunity? Like, 54 seconds remaining. I know it's kind of settling for overtime, but I like clock pressure in that situation.
Yeah, and how many missed field goals have we seen already this season? Why would you not make it that bit more tense?
It's always, to me, the best example of that is Super Bowl 49, when Belichick elected not to take the timeout, made the Seahawks sweat on it.
Made them panic.
And made them panic, and made them make the play that I think has been regretted for the entire career of a solid 40 to 50 people on that sideline. The Malcolm Butler interception, of course, we're talking about. Right. Wentz in the gun, 54 seconds remaining, 1st and 10, ball at the 17. Mason goes in motion, Wentz gets it, goes for a little screen to Addison, steps inside, does make a man miss, out to the 15, down to about the 12-yard line of the Cleveland Browns. Could have been a loss of yardage there, instead picks up about 6 on the play, and they're going to call it, in fact 5, they're calling it 2nd and 5, ball on the 12. Clock is running, 37 seconds remaining. Wentz in the gun, Mason alongside him, choosing to hold on to that last time out. 30 seconds on the clock, 2nd and 5, takes the snap, goes to the right side, looking for Addison, end zone, touchdown Vikings! Denzel Ward in the area, but Carson Wentz places a perfect ball over the corner into the arms of Jordan Addison, who falls into the end zone, and the Minnesota Vikings take a 20-17 lead here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
It's a perfect call from Kevin O'Connell. He gets just a little out and up route from Jordan Addison to the sidelines. The Browns are sitting in zone. Denzel Ward cannot trigger and close on the ball.
I said it last week, are you not entertained? What a throw from Carson Wentz on that play. What a drive to take the ball 80 yards down the field. Ball is down, kick is up for the extra point, and kick is good. 4-point game. The 2-2 Minnesota Vikings lead the 1-3 Cleveland Browns 21-17. No timeouts for the Browns. 25 seconds on the clock. Dylan Gabriel somehow pulls out a touchdown drive in 25 seconds here. He will go down in absolute Cleveland lore, but we've seen a season of blocked kicks, we've seen a season of special teams mistakes, we've seen a season of returns left, right and centre. Is there a final twist in the tail here, or will Minnesota leave London 1-1 on their European trip and 3-2 on the season?
The Browns have to feel really gutted about putting the game in the hands of their defense. Go and get a stop for us. It's Carson Wentz. It's a beat-up Vikings offensive line. They said, we're just going to play coverage. Wentz will make a mistake. Our pass rush will get home. And Wentz made really smart decisions. A brilliantly called drive from Kevin O'Connell as well.
And they didn't even have to use the timeout. They didn't even have to use the timeout that they saved because they threw on the 3rd and 9. Astonishing. Really great drive from the Vikings. Really great play calling from Kevin O'Connell. And now as Will Ricard gets set to kick one back for the Cleveland Browns on the goal line. On the far side, I think it's Jerome Ford. And it's going to go towards Ford. He has a blocker in front of him, fields it at the 3, comes out to the 20, 25, out to the outside, gets to nearly the 30-yard line, but it takes another 4 or 5 seconds off of the clock. It's going to be 21 seconds on the game clock, and Dylan Gabriel is going to be getting the ball back at the 29-yard line. I mean, this is such a tough territory for Kevin Stefanski. What you can call here, you obviously have to use the sidelines. You know that Brian Flores is a master of these situations. This is incredibly tough for the Cleveland Browns as they break the huddle very quickly. Apologies, Ollie Connolly. I'm speaking over you, but this is a big moment. Dylan Gabriel in the gun. He's got a back alongside him. 3 receivers left, 1 receiver to the right. Set drop back. There is pressure from Dallas Turner. Rolls up in the pocket, over the middle, finds his man right around midfield, right down on the F of the NFL logo. Isaiah Bonds gets out past the 50. They've got to rush up. They've got to spike it. 9 seconds, 8 seconds remaining. 7 seconds on the clock. Big chunk play on the first play of the drive, and that at least gives them a chance.
You see the Dylan Gabriel impact right there, stepping up and climbing through the pocket. The Vikings are in 2-man defense, so man coverage on the outside with 2 safeties deep. It leaves no one to account for the quarterback in coverage, which allows him to climb up through the pocket. Someone has to trigger to go and get Gabriel, and he can throw the ball to an open man down the field.
Isaiah Bonds, 22-yard completion they give him at the end to the Minnesota 49. Is this... Do you just go for this?
Gotta go for
They
it.
are playing essentially for a Hail Mary here. Dylan Gabriel on his NFL debut has time to let the play develop. They take time to rush. It's up, it's in the air, it's going to the end zone. Can they come down with it? No, it's a Minnesota Viking who brings the ball down, and the Minnesota Vikings will come away from London with the victory, the final interception of the game. It's the man of the season for the Minnesota Vikings. Isaiah Rodgers again makes the big play, and this could all be over, but the referee is coming up to communicate something with us. 21-17. Have the Vikings won it?
Prior to the ball being snapped, we had an acknowledgement of a timeout for Minnesota. 7 seconds back on the game clock. 30 seconds on the
my God. Isaiah Rodgers just iced the game for the Minnesota Vikings, and Kevin O'Connell took a timeout. Wow! That is astonishing. What are they doing?
And
Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but man, that's got to hurt.
If you're the Browns, you could not, I think, attempt another Hail Mary. I think you got to try and find a way to throw the ball to the sideline and hope for the best, then take another Hail Mary shot if you can. Gabriel just doesn't have the arm to drive that thing down the field. That thing was floating up in the air for far too long, allowed Isaiah Rodgers to go make a play on the ball.
Interestingly, the Vikings elected to bring 4 on that, but with very delayed pressure, which... You know, getting in his bag a little bit, Flores, right, from the 49-yard line. It's a second attempt, baby, at the Hail Mary. This time they will bring pressure. Gabriel has some time. The play is developing, but he does go over the sideline, down to the 30, out to the 9, tackled down in bounds. Jeff Okudah, the clock will run, and this time the Minnesota Vikings defense end this game. We thought it was all over. Jamari Thrash with the catch, but this time it is. The Minnesota Vikings come out on top after a brilliant fourth quarter drive from Carson Wentz going 80 yards to give them the lead. Jordan Addison with the catch, and 21-17 the Vikings come away with London with the victory.
An excellent tackle from Jeff Okudah in space. The Browns went to what we just talked about. We're going to have to throw it underneath. We don't trust that Dylan Gabriel has the arm to drive it that far down the field. Let's try and steal some space up the field and get to the sideline. They just couldn't hit it.
Overall, reflecting on that game, Dylan Gabriel, yes, comes away with the defeat. the Browns fall to 1-4, disappointing. But I think he showed a huge amount today in defeat. I think he showed a huge amount of poise, some great decision making, and as the teams meet at midfield, I think he's got a lot to be proud of from that performance today.
Yeah, if I was the Browns, there's nothing on the offense I'd be disappointed with, given what they were dealing with coming into the season, given the receiver room, given the issues on the offensive line. The only flaw in Gabriel's game was exposed there right at the end with just the deep arm talent down the field. But in terms of decision making, moving around the pocket, some of the mobility stuff, we got to see that throughout today. He can be a point guard style play for you. He can be a kind of Brock Purdy, distributed to the right targets type play. He just doesn't quite have that high-end upside with the arm talent, but he played like a really high-quality backup player in the league, which as a rookie in your first start in an international game against that defense is, I think, as good as they could have hoped for.
And Carson Wentz and Jim Schwartz have a lengthy conversation at midfield. Myles Garrett coming off the field looking incredibly disappointed. David Njoku having a lovely time catching up with his friends on the Vikings. Him and Justin Jefferson about to exchange jerseys. He had a whale of a time here in London today, but the Vikings come away with the win. And with Carson Wentz suffering that injury at the end of the first half, coming out taped up in the second half, the opening half touchdown drive, moving the ball down the field, I thought he looked tentative at times. A lot of it was play design. The gutsiness to come out in that fourth quarter to put together a game-winning drive, I thought was sensational.
Yeah, and the catch from Jordan Addison at the end, he was benched to open the game because of whatever happened pre-game. And suddenly Carson Wentz, I think we undersold the shot from Carson Wentz on that throw. It is a cover two ripper to Jordan Addison, put where only his guy can go make a play. Addison goes, makes the play. That is why you have Carson Wentz in the lineup, right? It's the vet stuff. Can you just avoid disasters, keep us on schedule, give our defense a chance, and if we don't turn the ball over too consistently in the passing game, we'll always have a shot.
And look, from the Vikings perspective, they've got the bye week next week, a chance to get a little bit healthy. Who knows what the status of, say, Brian O'Neill and his strained MCLs. Who knows what the status of Donovan Jackson coming off that is going to be. I mean, Ryan Kelly goes on to IR, but this is a banged up team right now. They've got to play the Eagles in 2 weeks' time in the 6 p.m. window. They then go to the Chargers on Thursday Night Football on a short week, to the Lions, home to the Ravens, who admittedly haven't been up to the standard people expected this year. But as a 4-game stretch, if you are banged up and you've only just about made 3 and 2, like, they needed this. They didn't just want it, they had to have this.
They had to have it, and it was just really tough going up against that quality of defense, but they more than held their own. That offensive line, given all the concerns you just mentioned there, credit to both Kevin O'Connell and Carson Wentz, but the line held up. It started to get worked over a little as the second half went along, but in crucial downs, in key situations on both those long drives you mentioned, there was not a ton of pressure on Carson Wentz to the degree we expected coming into the game.
Look, brilliant stuff from the whole team here. Tom Scholes from the team on talkSPORT, Brian Smith and Sam Matterface having here alongside us as well. Greg Rosenthal, as I mentioned already, NFL Daily tomorrow morning will be myself, Ollie Connolly alongside me. Greg Rosenthal will be breaking down not just this game, but the 6 games coming up in the 6 p.m. window and the 4 games in the 9 p.m. window. We're going to hand over Sunday Night Football, I think, to Jordan and Patrick, because honestly, I'm not staying up to 5 a.m. and then recording a podcast, having got here at like 10:30 this morning. But thank you to everyone on the team. Brilliant stuff. That second of 4 straight international series games here on talkSPORT 2 next weekend. We're back here for Jets Broncos, and up next here on talkSPORT 2, it's our very own Will Varney to take you through the Jets trying to get their season back on track against the Dallas Cowboys, plus keeping you across all of the other 6 p.m. games. If you're just leaving the stadium, if you're popping your headphones in, tune in. We'll be bringing you some locker room as well. We're heading down there now. Thank you so much for listening. This has been the first London game of the season, and a barnstormer as the Minnesota Vikings beat the Cleveland Browns 21-17.